Connie and Missy. Today, my guest star is the fabulous Missy with Missy's Universe and more. How are you doing today, Missy? We're having some technical difficulties. It seems
Hi.
like we have a lag going on. So hopefully it improves during the live. But I just want to warn y'all that there are going to be some technical issues with today's live. Missy is having some bad weather in her area, which may be affecting the connection.
Yes.
But today's topic is helpful amigurumi tips. So we're going to give y'all some helpful advice, and I'm sure some of y'all may have questions to do with amigurumi, so feel free to ask questions. All right, so I want to welcome everyone that is here with us now in the chat. And if you are here, leave a comment, let us know you're here. Also, I want to welcome those that will be watching on replay. If you do watch on replay, leave a comment, let us know. And most of y'all know that I do extra entries for my giveaways on the live. So I'm going to be picking three, kind of towards the beginning. I call it the peak of the live, when I find people have settled in and where there's usually the most people here during the live. And then at the end of the live, I will pick another 3 people to get 5 extra entries. And then on the replay, I'll leave a keyword for 2 people to get extra entries on the replay. And another thing that I've started doing, where StreamYard or YouTube has started this goal thing. So every time I get either a super chat or a new channel member, a Stitchin Alien UFO member, then for each one, I will pick 1 extra entry. If I get 5 on today's live, I will pick 10 extra people to get extra entry. So there's that. Let's see who's here. Diane, she came early. Yeah, I think you got the time zones confused. I'm Central Standard Time. So
Yeah, I'm Central too. So
yeah. And let's see, Cheryl's here and Amanda's here. Welcome everybody, and Samantha and Mandy. And let's see. Diane's calling Missy the amigurumi queen. She is.
she gives me too much credit, I tell you.
Missy, like, she's always making all these different amigurumis. And on top of that, she makes them quick. And
sometimes.
And I found out about Missy's channel through Cheryl Smith. She's the one that told me about Missy. And I saw that pumpkin she made, the Beetlejuice inspired pumpkin. And I was like, oh my. I'm like, this is awesome. So
thank you.
It was. I was just like, that was a sweet pumpkin. I'm like, I want to make one. So I didn't know exactly everything she did on hers. So I looked at it on the video and tried to do something similar. And then I made one. And, we started talking from that pumpkin.
Yeah.
And this is the second time Missy has gone live with me.
And it wasn't that hard. You just let creativity flow. Yeah, you just used something you saw and let the creativity flow. Mm-hmm. And you did your own thing. And that's a lot of what we do with amigurumi. You don't necessarily have to follow a pattern. Pattern, we hear everybody say it is just a suggestion or a recipe. You can make changes the better you get. You can make them the way you want them, and
Mhm.
yeah, you can go crazy with them and just them give them their own story.
Exactly. And, and you never know who in the Yarny community will inspire you. And Missy inspired me with
Exactly.
that. And
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome. So if y'all haven't checked out Missy's channel, please check her out. She's amazing. Y'all will love her. So I have her link in the description box of today's live. And if one of my moderators can drop her link, or if you type drop in the chat, Missy, you can drop your own link. And that's just for
Okay.
anyone that has channels. If you type drop, Mr. Nightbot will drop your link. And I do want to make sure that I sound okay to everybody. I had disconnected some of my stuff and I reconnected it today. So I want to make sure my settings are all okay. Let's see. Who else we got here? Lacey Lavender's here. And Kelly's here. Howdy, howdy. And let us know what y'all been working on and what y'all drinking, y'all plans for the weekend.
And
Oh,
if you're
don't say
working
that,
on any
Diane.
amigurumi, if they're
Wait,
if they're doing any amigurumi, let us know what you're making.
yeah, let us know. Talk Amigurumi to us.
Right?
And we have Angela here, and she's working on her score of drinking water. And we have Kim G. See, Diane's even saying that Misty's fast and furious and sweet. Yes, she is. Ooh, I'm gonna have to see your alien. I don't think I've seen it. I like
Oh,
aliens.
Amanda's?
Yeah.
You have got to watch her. Was it her last video? Her Megan Lap Monday.
Okay.
I think it was last month. She showed she's doing two. She's got one done. It is amazing.
Oh wow. And I like aliens. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's
But
on my list to do.
Diane says she has great eye for color. I'm presuming you're talking about Misty. And we have Amanda blushing.
Amanda, you know that alien is awesome.
And even Diane saying it's awesome. Yeah, Cheryl is awesome. I talk to Cheryl pretty much every day on Messenger. Let's see. Diane says that Missy, you went through so many items the other day. And yeah, your pumpkin inspired Cheryl too, Missy. Because she made a little one. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, and probably sometime this week, I'm probably gonna do a little pop-up live because I want to try to test stuff on my new laptop and play with my microphones to get it where I can sound good to film from my laptop. Oops, we lost Missy. Like I said, I think Missy's having some internet problems today. She has bad weather going on. So there's probably going to be technical difficulties. But yeah, I got another mic that I played with it in one video, but a lot of y'all were saying I sounded either like echoey or kind of under a tunnel. And the crazy thing is, on my side, when I listened, it seemed to sound okay. So I want to make sure I can get it tweaked where it sounds good for everybody. Hopefully, okay, good, good, good. And then sometimes I've seen it too, especially like StreamYard. One day you sound fine, and then the next day you did nothing to change your setting, and then it's wonky. Hopefully Misty comes back. Let's see. Lacey Lavender is drinking water as usual and knitting a shawl. Ooh, I want to see your shawl when you're done. Oh, Diane, you know, don't give up on yourself. Sometimes it may just take longer to get something. And the more you play with it, the better you're going to get. Because amigurumi takes time. And I mean, I'm not perfect with mine. I still make boo-boos when I do amigurumi. You know, a lot of times you can conceal the boo-boos, but like I said, the more you play with it starts becoming easier. And the same thing with some of the stitches that you don't like to do. Like some people don't like doing like the front post, back post, double crochet stitches. And at first, they're awkward to do. But the more you do it, like now, it's nothing for me to do it. So with anything, it takes practice. Oh, okay, Missy's back. Yay! So with anything, we got Missy back.
The power blinked and shut me down.
I wondered what happened. but, but yeah, like I said, there may be technical issues today. Let's see, because I noticed Missy tends to freeze on my screen, and I've noticed a lag. So we're gonna try to make it work. Let's see. Cheryl says she's drinking an energy drink and the same knit score. Ooh, Diane's saying the alien's amazing. And let's see. Amanda says she needs to sew her second alien together, but working on the M&Ms me and Missy are working on together. Nice. So is there going to be a pattern or a video tutorial for the alien? Let's see. Diane says I have a half a loaf cat and it's not happening. But like I said, don't give up on yourself, Diane. When it came to crocheting, my first couple attempts, I couldn't figure it out.
I told you I would help you.
And actually, that's something I'm going to be talking about this coming week. Is my journey when it came to crocheting, and there's going to be an extra live this coming week. I have a special guest star that's going to be coming live with me. I think Monday I'll be announcing more about this. So, yeah. Let's see. We have Janet here. Howdy, howdy. Oh, we got Amanda blushing. Even more. Oh, Diane says all the Ammies she is putting in a drawer to pick from. Awesome. Yeah. Missy's power blink. And those blinks sometimes are the most frustrating. All it takes is 1 second that the power blinks and it knocks your internet down. And then you gotta get everything back up again. I think Missy froze. Yeah, I think she's frozen. Let's see. Oh, Diane says she loves everyone and she's a happy girl right now. Happy, happy girl. I always say that to my cat. I'm like, they're happy boys. Happy, happy boy. Or happy, happy cat. Okay. Yep.
Am I
A lot of
back? I don't know. Our internet is doing some weird things.
Okay, you seem to have become unfrozen now.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now to normal. And I think she. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I'm wondering if the storms aren't getting wild and getting closer.
Hopefully we can make
what
this
she was
work.
talking about, I'm putting them in a jar. Yes.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's so many crocheters make amazing things, and like I said, we encourage each other. We motivate. We inspire others. Let's see. We have Linda here and Alex. Not Alexander. Roseanne. Sorry. We have Linda and Roseanne here. Howdy, howdy. Janet says she still don't love joining in the room. And that is one thing we're going to be discussing because that is a part of Amigurumi. Let's see. Diane says it's a combination of things. The little ones really hurt my wrist. The big ones I figured would be better. Nope. I made one somebody, and that was all I ever finished because it was promised. But that's one thing because a lot of people think with amigurumis you got to use the thin yarns, like the 1 or 2 weight yarn. I use 4 weight on mine. You don't. Mm-hmm. I use 4 weight.
I am known to use this stuff on a regular pattern that calls for 3 or 4 weight. I am known to use this and make them bigger. It's all in what you want to do.
Exactly. And we're going to get into more of that when we really start talking about the amigurumis later in the live. But, oh yeah. And once you start making amigurumis, they're fun. They're addicting. Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome, Amanda. And that's one thing, always believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself. And always think positive, happy, happy thoughts.
Yeah. Because if I would have stopped with the very first one I made that was a hot train wreck, I would have never made another one. Mm-hmm. But I told myself I want to do this, and I tried again. And
there was a little pink pumpkin I made that was technically my first amigurumi, but for me, I consider this really my first true amigurumi that's known. And I mean, it's under stuff. I mean, look, it's under stuff. You can pinch. The head's kind of starting to lean on it now. And then, like, I sewed the hat on, and you can kind of like see the marking where I sewed, and it's not perfect.
No, and they're not going to be. Not everything is going to be perfect, and everything is trial and error. And the more you do, the better you get.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also find ways to do things that are better than what the pattern designer says to do a certain way. After you're doing it a while, you'll be like, no, I know an easier way to do it. And yeah.
And let's see,
Amanda said it's
Lavender's talking about the reverse crab stitch is always awkward for her getting it started, but then it gets easier as I go along. I don't like the crab stitch. I don't. And I don't do it the proper way to do it. Bag O Day showed a different way to do it that is much easier. Where instead of working in the opposite direction, you turn your crochet hook like clockwise. You turn it, and it gives it. I don't know if it's exactly the same per se, but it's at least very similar look. And that's what I do
gotcha.
in any pattern that calls for the crab stitch. Yeah, Cheryl's
Hi,
saying the same.
Donna. Donna just came in and she said hi.
Howdy, Donna. Yeah, Cheryl's complaining about the crab stitch too. Oh, it's a Megan Lap pattern, the alien. Oh, awesome,
Yes.
awesome. And we have Kim G here. Diane says she needs serious help. Well, hopefully today's video will help when it comes to amigurumi. And like quite a while back, I also did a video talking about helpful tips for amigurumis. But I think pretty much everything in that video we're going to be discussing on the live. And let's see. Yep. And I will give y'all a hint. The one that's going to be coming live with me next week. She has been on my live once before, but it's been a while. And let's see. Oh, Kelly's saying one day I may try a different amigurumi. Yeah, I think that's the same one I was talking about, Kim, where you twist it instead of going backward. Diane's wanting to see some of Missy's amigurumis. Yeah, more than likely, I think.
Which one is she wanting to see?
Yeah, let us know which one of her Amies you want to see. Yeah, probably Monday I'll be announcing who it is in a video.
Awesome.
Oh, GrannyDee's here.
Show and tell
Howdy,
today.
howdy, howdy. Oh, what you eating, Amanda?
All of them now. You don't have all day.
Oh, thank you, GrannyDee. That was so sweet. So y'all know what time it is? It's what you call it? Super chat video time. Where is my video? Hold up. That's fun. Here it is.
You for sending Connie the super chat. Yay! Connie got a super chat. Thank you.
So thank you again, GrannyDee. I really appreciate that. And at the end of the live, there will now be 4 people that will get 5 extra entries into February's giveaway instead of 3. Let's see. Where were we? Everyone's saying how to do. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, Amanda does Amy out of thread.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how I would do like with thread or like a one weight with amigurumi. And that is true, Kim. You have to make mistakes to learn.
Yes.
It is. And when you mess up, and I know this is hard because I'm facing this with a project that I'm currently working on. You know, you want to beat yourself up when you mess up and you look at the negative, but typically
Yes.
when you make mistakes and you have to frog, it's a learning experience. You more than likely learn something. And sometimes it may just be to pay closer attention and be more careful. But
Now,
oh
do y'all
yeah,
want to see? Go ahead,
I,
Connie.
I had to do some major frogging yesterday. I wanted to cry.
Oh no.
All because I have a tendency whenever I do patterns, I like to write out the rows around in my notebook where it's larger and easier to see. And then I can kind of break it up where it's also easier to read it as you do it. Well, I left off a stitch when I wrote it. And something started bugging me. I was like, something's not right. I'm like, why isn't there an increase here? I go back and look at the original pattern and I didn't write it in my notebook. And it majorly affected everything. I start over, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll get through it.
It's okay. That's
I'm
right.
I'm not going to let it discourage me
Now,
from making the
for
project.
those that have never made an Ami, for those that have never made an Ami before and you don't think you can do it, because we are our own worst critic, I will show you the first one I ever did. And I told you it was a hot mess. And back then, you didn't have all the cool Ami stuff you have now. And you didn't have the word Amigurumi on the streets. You just did stuffed animals. And you hardly ever saw patterns. And someone requested for me to make a hillbilly mouse. And I'm going to show you what this hot mess looked like. And I almost decided I was never going to make one again after I made this because it was awful. And this just shows you, don't stop. This was the first one I ever made, and it was hideous. None of
It looks
the
cute to me.
limbs were the same size. I didn't know all the tips and tricks I do now. It's all trial and error.
You're cutting in and out.
I know we keep getting these
Glitches.
like strong bands of rain. I'm surprised you actually could hear it.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, there is technical difficulty. Oh, I can't talk. There's going to be technical difficulties with today's live because of the weather Misty's experiencing. But we're trying to make things work. But that's part of going live. You know, some some lives you have the technical difficulties. It happens. Let's see,
Yeah.
Lacey Lavender.
And I've always said anybody who has any questions about amigurumi and if they're stuck on something, they can always reach out to me and I'm willing to help try and get them back on track to help them.
Let's see, Lacey Lavender saying if I can't find or afford a bulky weight, I use the number 4 and double it. I did that for a rug and used the Dollar Tree $5 Premier. Yep, that is one thing you can do. Thank you, GrannyDee. Amanda says she hates sewing. Yeah, and that's something too. You gotta kind of, and I'm still not the biggest fan of sewing. And I know, like I may not do as good of a job as what you see some people do with the sewing, but it's one of those things over time, it does look better and better.
The more you practice, the better you get, for sure.
And let's see, we have Thrifty Crocheter here. I'm not sure your first name. If you can let us know your name. And let's see. Lacey Lavender saying, we see the imperfections, but most people you give it to will never even notice. And that is true. That is so true. We fixate on our mistakes.
Yes. We are our own worst critic for sure.
Because we know it's there. Where typically someone else won't see it. The only time that they may see it is if they're an experienced crocheter or, where they're really like looking hard at the stitches. But most people don't do that. And let's see. Okay, we told Donna hello. I cannot talk today. We told Donna hello already. Yeah.
And I thought
and
somebody.
The crab stitch isn't fun. I must really be behind on the chat. Lacey Lavender says she avoids the crab stitch. But try doing the where you turn your hook. I don't know offhand. I know Bagel Day showed it on something, but it may have been on a project. I don't know if it was really a stitch tutorial. But you may be able to search and find it. But yep, we are our own worst critic.
Most definitely.
Let's see, we have Light Store White Gold here. And what's your first name, Light Store? I'm not familiar with Beth in Texas. Are you familiar with Beth in Texas?
Neither am I.
Misty?
No.
Yeah, gotta love the aliens. Oh, Beth was a pioneer on YouTube from the 2008 time frame. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with her Light Store.
Me neither.
But one thing you'll find on YouTube, people come and go. Because there's a lot of people that when I first started on YouTube that I don't see around anymore.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you lose touch with some of the people too because of that. Amanda says she avoids frogging as much as she can. She fudges as much as possible. And I tried to see if I could fudge on my pattern that I frog. It would have affected it too much. Even though if you saw a picture of it, you're not going to be able to tell from the picture, but it was going to create problems. Yep. Animal plushie. Yeah, chocolate is always good. Yeah. And the funny thing is, when I first started crocheting, I never thought I would make amigurumis because I looked at them as like stuffed animals for children. And then I started seeing the crochet gnome. And that's how I got into amigurumi. And now I'm hooked. And
it takes just that one thing.
Mm-hmm. And like I like making like the seasonal holiday ones. Or sometimes even stuff that I just like. Oh, I think Cheryl's getting rain. Yeah, some people prefer the no-sew amigurumi patterns. And if you want to avoid sewing, look for those types. a pattern. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Things are tough nowadays. Everything is just so expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, the stuffing, and I still struggle with getting the stuffing right in amigurumi. I mean, like, there's some that I do a better job than others
I think it's
because
kind of trial and error thing, just
you
like a
don't
lot
want
of it.
to you don't want to overstuff it and you don't want to understuff it.
Yep.
And if what I've read, the way that you know that you're overstuffing is when the stitches start to stretch.
Yes.
You want to stuff it to the point that you got enough stuffing, but
But also that can happen if your tension is too loose and your stitches are not tight enough.
mhm. Or another thing too, well, this kind of goes more with like the stuffing showing through, but you got to make sure you use the right crochet hook too.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of us, we want our stuff to look perfect, and when you know there's mistakes, it eats at you.
Yes,
But amigurumi, I think most people make mistakes with amigurumi.
yes. And more times than not, we are aware of them. But to a person who does not make them, they don't see it
Hmm.
most of the time. I mean, if you make like a drastic boo boo, yeah. But more times than not, we see the imperfections that nobody else can see. Like I can pick any one of the things that I've made and I can show you things that I think are wrong with it, but somebody else is going to look at it and think it's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just need to learn to give ourselves more grace. It's a creative process. There is nothing you make that is ever going to be 100% perfect. You just have to enjoy the process and like what you're doing. And then the more you do it, the better you're going to get. But you're still going to make mistakes.
Exactly. And sometimes, like with amigurumi, even though you have mistakes, some of them you can hide.
And some of those mistakes are a good thing. I have made some whopper of mistakes, but I ended up liking the project better than what it would have looked like without the mistake. So it was
All
a
right.
happy accident.
All right. Story is, and let's see, we have Mandy that joined us. Oh, you made a crochet a gnome store. Awesome. And we have Tammy here. She likes to make plushies. Oh, Tammy's getting snow. I'm trying to kind of skim the comments because I know I'm behind on them. Let's see. Yep, yep. Mistakes are human. We make mistakes on anything and everything. Oh, we have
Hi,
Lana.
Anna.
We have Lana that joined us. Let's see. Yep. And I know, like when I first learned how to knit, one of my first shawls I made, I dropped a stitch, and you could see it. I just kind of made it like did it where like it won't drop any further.
Oopsie.
Okay, awesome, Kim. Awesome, awesome. Alrighty. So I guess we're gonna start doing some of the giveaways, and then we're gonna get more into today's topic. Um, so I am going to give away $5 worth of patterns. You can either find patterns on Ravelry or Etsy of your choosing, as long as it doesn't go over $5. And if you can find like 2 patterns, for under $5, that's fine. But it's $5 worth of pattern, either Ravelry or Etsy. And if you don't know how to read patterns, then we could do a $5 Amazon gift card. So the keyword is gift. Gift is the keyword. And this is open worldwide. Gift is the keyword. And that's one thing, Amanda. Now, one thing, like with Amigurumi, and like the first one I did, I weaved in every single end piece, and like on the hat it was striped, so I had like a bunch of ends, and then someone told me, why did you weave them all in? They're like, you just hide them in the inside. And that is one thing. But if you do worry about it coming undone, you can still weave it in. It kind of depends on what it is.
Also, something like that, a trick too, if you don't want to weave them in and run the risk of it showing through in your work, you can tie all the ends, tie them one to another, to another, to another, and they're not going to come undone. And that way you don't have to take all the time to weave them in because it's hidden anyway. And if they're all tied one to another, to another, to another, you're good.
And another thing I'll do sometimes, or a lot of times, like when you have your end piece, I'll like bring it inside and then go to the back, like pull it out the back and then cut it, where it's kind of like really buried in the inside with the stuffing.
Yeah.
That's something I'll do. It just kind of depends. The lady on the left, I guess that would be me then. Let's see. The gift is the keyword. And I just realized something. I may have boo-booed on this.
Hi, Sherry. Welcome in.
I forgot to bring Nightbot up. Let's see. Hopefully I'll still pick up the comment. Let's see.
Pebbles asked a question with the striped hat. Can you carry each color? You can try. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. It's trial and error. If you are working on a project and it actually works, then go for it. But if you notice that you're seeing it through the work or it's not working out correctly, then...
Okay. I boo-booed with the giveaway. So everyone that's typed gift in the chat, type it again. I didn't have the comment picker up. Sorry about that, y'all. So type the keyword again. It's been one of those days. Before the live, I had it where I think a cord came undone, either my router or my modem. It came unplugged. Well, the internet went off on the TV while Frank was watching it. And so I come and I go and I reset the router, the modem, and all that. Not doing anything on the computer. Then I noticed like the light on my Wi-Fi USB thingy wasn't on. Then the mouse stopped working.
Oh, no.
So I go and I had to do an improper shutdown on my computer. Then I saw that the TV had the internet back up and running, and I'm just like, oh, please come back up, please come back up, with the reboot, and it did. But I mean, I was just like, oh, gee, don't make this mess up me going live today.
Star. Yes, I do remember those. It was called Web TV. We had one before we actually got a computer.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those?
Gift is the keyword, just like it is on the screen. Let's see. This is for $5 worth of patterns. You could either do Ravelry or Etsy. And if you don't read patterns, then I'll just do a $5 Amazon gift card. So yeah, gift is the keyword. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and good luck. Congratulations, Tammy's Critters and Things. You won $5 worth of patterns.
Yay!
All right, so send me an email. Just another stitch 2020 at gmail.com. It's on the screen. And send me the links of the patterns you want. And if you don't read patterns, then let me know and I'll do the Amazon gift card. All right. I think I saw something that Diane's asking about the chicken.
The little one or the big one, Diane? Because I have the little one that the cat tries to steal.
Aw, cute.
But I have the bigger ones.
Cute, cute, cute.
The big one. I'll go grab it real quick.
All right, once she does that, now we're going to do some I'm going to be giving away extra entries into my giveaway for the month of February, Love is in the Air giveaway. So I'm going to pick 3 people at this point in the live to each get 5 extra entries. And the keyword, let's see. Give me just a minute. I need to type it in. The keyword will be, if I can type it, romance. Romance. And what? Oh, I know what happened. Hold up. I forgot to refresh. All right. Romance is the keyword. So you got your big chicken?
Yes. I had started off, whoa, he's trying to run away, with a smaller one. I was following a pattern I got, and you could tell that the person who wrote the pattern, their their language probably is not English. So there was some things lost in translation. And of course, it had no wings. It had no tail feathers, no nothing. So, I'm always bougie and add things. And so I tried to make it cute, and did my beak and stuff their own way. Well, I wanted to try it myself and do it different. And of course, my way came out bigger compared to the other one. And I did wings.
After I finish picking the extra entries, I'll have you show them again where the screen's bigger so people can see it better. Let's see, we have Janice that joined us, and also I saw someone else. Kel joined us too. Howdy. And if I missed anyone, I do apologize. But this is for 5 extra entries into February's giveaway. I'm going to pick 3 people. And for February's giveaway, it's kind of a mystery. It will be, if you live in the U.S., it will be ice yarn. If you live outside of the U.S., then it'll be, I think I said $25 Amazon gift card. I think that's what I had said. I know it's an Amazon gift card.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah, and one thing when it comes to amigurumis, tension makes a difference. All right.
Very much so.
I'm going to go ahead and count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and good luck. Congratulations. Tammy's Critters and Things gets 5 extra entries. Let me get that written down. All right. And the second person, good luck. Oh, Missy. Congratulations, Missy. All right. And the next person, Lacey Lavender 1. All right. So y'all each get 5 extra entries. And I'm going to be picking some more at the end of the live. And there'll be the replay too. All right. All right. So go ahead and show your chickens again.
So the first one that I did, and I showed it a couple weeks ago on my Amigurumi Monday, I was following a pattern, and you could tell that the designer's first language was not English. So, of course, things get lost in translation, and that is a problem with a lot of Ami patterns that are not written by someone whose first language is English. So you kind of have to, I think it's a trial and error thing. And the more of them you come across and the longer you've done Ami, you can kind of figure out what you need to do based on the design. Well, I didn't like some of the elements. The head was weird. And of course, there was no tail feathers, no wings. It was just plain. And so I wanted to do it my own way. And so I did my own thing. And of course, it came out bigger, as you can see.
So
and I did the wings different than I did them on that one, because that one, like I said, had no wings. And just kind of chaining and doing some little wheel stitching to make a little my brain just went dead. And making my own little beak, the comb, and just doing some loops and knotting them to make tail feathers, because chickens got to shake tail feathers. But yeah, it's like a lot of us say, it's just a recipe or a suggestion. You can get ideas from ones, and I have bought patterns, trust me, that if you followed it to the T, you did not get what the picture shows. Because they are so badly written. And so you have to be really careful, especially if you're new. Try and get patterns from someone who's trusted. And start with free ones. If you have never done Ami before and you want to build your skills, start with free ones before you start paying for them. And go to ones that are tried and true and a lot of people have used. Because random ones you can find on the internet will not give you what they say you're going to get. And that does frustrate a lot of people and turn them away from Amigurumi. They think, oh, I can't do it. It wasn't them. It was the pattern itself. So,
and one thing I've noticed with Amigurumi patterns, that like most of the time in patterns, you notice more of a consistency with how patterns are written. Amigurumi, depending on each designer, tends to do their own thing with how they write stuff up. And some can be more confusing than others.
Yes.
But I find
or the wording gets lost in translation, and it'll say something that it doesn't actually need to say, or it's telling you something wrong because it wasn't what the designer meant because of the translation. So they are very confusing.
Or like, for instance, you'll see like normally in a pattern you see chain 3, but I've seen patterns where they do like 3 chains. And it's like,
yep.
But another thing too, typically if you have questions on a pattern, you can reach out to the designer. Now, you may occasionally get one that won't respond, but a good designer will respond back.
Yeah.
Now, if there's that English barrier, it still may
be confusing.
Not be able to get your question answered, I guess. But yeah, that is something I've noticed with Amigurumi. The way, like, the wording can be
and a lot of times what I've seen is where they give you stitch counts at the end of I've seen patterns where they don't. So you're like, okay, you're kind of guessing and trying to figure it out yourself. But then I've seen ones, and you can tell that either the language barrier or they're not very well versed in writing those patterns, and stitch counts will not be what they're supposed to. I will go in and cross it out and fix it because, I don't want to get confused if I'm not paying attention. But the better you get at it, you are able to find others' mistakes in those patterns.
I found mistakes in patterns before.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have Maritza that joined us, and Kimberly. How are y'all? And if I miss greeting somebody, say hello again. Tell us that she's been wanting to make some of those hens. You know one that I really love, those emotional support chickens. I think those are so cute.
The little ones.
I've seen different ones.
Yeah. This was one that I didn't really care for the pattern, and so I just kind of went I went rogue. I go rogue a lot. And the same with these. These are actually going to hospice. I donate a lot of these things to hospice. I don't keep a whole lot of what I make.
Yes, AI is another issue with patterns too.
Yes. I don't know if you're getting this same thing from people who know you that reach out to you and say, can you make this for me? But I'm getting a lot of people who know me that are sending me, oh, I saw this on Facebook. How much will you charge me to make this? And I have to reach out and tell them it's not a real pattern, that it's an AI generated image, that there is no pattern. It may say there is, but it's not real crochet. And they're like, well, how do you even know that? I crochet. I can tell it's AI. And I'm getting a lot of those messages.
And AI is gonna, don't get me wrong, there can be some good to AI.
Yeah.
But it creates a lot of issues. Scary issues too. But when it comes to reading patterns, the best way to learn how to read patterns is find a video tutorial that also has a written pattern for that pattern. And when you're doing the video tutorial, look to see how it's written up. Like Crochet Crowd tends to have a written pattern with their video tutorials. Morley Bird does. There's others too. I just can't think of them offhand. But some of them are really good about having both. And I know that's how I started learning how to read patterns. And a lot of it's written exactly how they say it on a video tutorial.
Mm.
The most confusing part is the abbreviations, but patterns have the abbreviation list at the top, towards the top of the pattern. At least they should.
Yeah. I've run across some that didn't.
But it's supposed to. Let's see. Yeah, and one thing too, because technically when you get a pattern, you really should, and I'm not the best about doing this, read all the notes before you start working on it. Because sometimes it can create issues.
Yes, I've come across patterns where, like, if you go from the very front of the pattern and start working, they'll like have you working on the head and the body, but then they'll get to a certain point and tell you to crochet in the arms or the legs, but it didn't tell you to do those first. And then you're like, okay, I've got this one ball of yarn. How am I supposed to do the arms and the legs while I'm already attached to the body and I'm in the process of the body? So I have a habit, whether the pattern says it or not, if arms and legs, any appendages are separate, I make all of them first before I ever start the body, unless they're crocheted as you go and a part of that piece. But if they're separate and you have to sew them on or crochet them in, then I make all my pieces first. I keep them all in one container, so they don't get lost. Like,
now, one thing I find interesting is some of the different techniques that you can use.
Yes.
Because like some of them do it where instead of having to sew the pieces on, you kind of connect it as you're working it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll do it where you work in the back loop and then you have that front loop where you can just like stitch it
like
as
these,
you go.
The Impkins. Megan Lapp has written them that way, where when you're attaching them, you'll work like on like half of it, and then when you go around, then you go over the top half to attach them so that they're and so you have to make the pieces first. You can't be in the middle of it and then stop and go, oh crap, I need to make those arms. And there are some patterns out there that are not very explanatory. You have to be very careful, and you'll get to that point. You'll be like, oh man. But do try. And if you don't know which pattern designers are kind of tried and true that are very explanatory in helping you when you're new, reach out to somebody who knows how to do them, and they'll be able to help get you in the right direction, as well as something that's at your skill level when you're learning. Because if you've never made one, you don't want to find an advanced pattern and try and make one. Like Amanda always says, and I do too when we're talking, that's
Missy froze.
running before you learned how to walk. There are some of us who will do that, but if you're this weather, I'm telling you.
And things were going smooth for quite a while, and now. But
I
I'm seeing
know.
a lot of people are recommending Megan Lapp. I haven't done any of her patterns, I don't think, but I've heard of her mentioned a lot. I think you have more
Yeah.
experience with her.
Megan Lapp is a little more on the advanced side. If you've never made any before and you want to start off with something that is basic but has a very nice end result, Sweet Oddity Art is a very good one. And she does have some free ones in her Ravelry. You just have to go through. A lot of them are paid, but she does drop free ones here and there that you can go in there and print out. She doesn't overcomplicate things. I'm trying to think if I even have a Sweet Oddity Art in here. No, I think the last ones that I made, I donated to hospice. Yeah, I don't have any. Nope, they're all gone. No, I do have one. This is a Sweet Oddity Art.
Aww.
This was one of my old whips from 2024 that I pulled out of my random bucket to finish so I can get them gone. And this one is not a free one, though. This is Mango the Kitty, but she doesn't overcomplicate them. And you just do all the pieces. You make the head, and she's very explanatory. She has lots of good pictures. That's very important. And you do the body, and then you just sew everything on. But yeah, she's a good one, and she does have some really cute free ones to try out. I'm trying to think of some others.
Sure. If you type drop in the chat, it'll drop your channel link.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah. Now with crochet, I basically learned how to read patterns early on because I did lessons off of Craftsy and Selena Baca. Whenever she would do like kind of like a tutorial in her lessons, there was also the written pattern that went along with it. So I started learning the skills basically as I was learning how to crochet. I mean, and there's still stuff that sometimes I got to look at a video tutorial, to figure out what they mean,
The internet has opened up a whole new world for people. I started crocheting when I was 5. I will be 58 in April. So that's 53 years. We didn't have internet. Most of your crochet patterns came from either a Women's World magazine or a McCall's. They used to have patterns in them. They don't anymore. Or Good Housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have like Annie's Attic where you could get books and things. But we didn't have internet so it's opened up a whole new world for people who didn't learn all that stuff or they're brand new, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Internet, YouTube has opened up so many doors. Oh, hey,
Yes.
Hey, Miguel, how are you today? Let's see. Okay, Amanda's asking you to repeat something that you were saying when you were cutting in and out. I'm trying to remember what you were talking about at that point. But yeah, I would not trust AI patterns. I wouldn't trust them.
Cheryl, it was Sweet Oddity Art. For
the cat?
Yeah, I know I have some right here. Well, maybe. Another really good designer, and her patterns are very inexpensive. And they're very well written with a lot of pictures and everything, is Be Crochetive.
Okay.
If you want her information, I have put some of her information in my videos before, making some of her things. She's no longer designing patterns anymore, and she doesn't have social media anymore or anything due to a lot of issues. But her patterns are very good for a basic beginner. There are sewing, but she words them very well. And I think that's also very important, is the wording, so that someone who's new doesn't get confused.
No, Kelly, with the ending, the eyes, I remember there was one amigurumi pattern that I did, that they had you do something to kind of get that indent, but I don't really remember what I did. Missy may know more about that.
For what?
The indent to the eyes that you see on some amigurumis.
Yes. Trying to see if I have one. Well, she doesn't have. Basically, when you're doing those, let me grab something that would, like for instance, if you wanted to bring in the eyes a little more on here, basically you're using, I use a lot of embroidery thread. Sometimes I'll use the yarn that matches, but you would go in, depending on how you want them to sink in, and you would bring it out the other side, and then you're going to loop it around and bring it back, tie it off, and then you're going to hide it in. But when you would put the stitches in, you're going to bring them in like this, and it will create the indents. And depending on where you put them, depends on how they're going to show on your face.
Yeah, that was how it was. And I was kind of thinking that, you had to take your thread with your tapestry needle and go about it like pulling it in a certain way. But I wasn't sure. I was like, am I remembering right? Now the eyelashes, now my experience, you're doing like embroidering them in. Now maybe there's some other, ways to do eyelashes that I haven't done.
You want to know a simple way?
Fake eyelashes?
Ooh. Yep.
I started wondering about that. I'm going to have to get me some fake eyelashes.
Dollar Tree.
I was thinking that too.
Yes, and don't use super glue to put them on. I use a hot glue gun, and I just do a little strip around the back to secure it, to make sure, because they're sticky, and you can get them set up where they need to be. Just use a little hot glue gun, let it dry, and then, yeah, I just buy them at the Dollar Tree when I want to add the dramatic eyelashes.
And you see, I'm learning
that was
stuff
one of the
too.
things. Another Dollar Tree thing. Go to Dollar Tree for necks. If you feel like the neck is going to be too floppy because the neck is very small and you don't want it to, Dollar Tree has these amazing spongy hair rollers for $1. Well, $1.25 now. They come in, I think it's 2 sizes. They have a green one, which is smaller, and they're flexible. And you can use these to stabilize.
See, I've normally used I've used chopsticks before.
I tried to use chopsticks once and they will break, depending. Now, if they're decoration, not so much. But I've also bought these before. I keep these on hand for bigger projects because I have
wooden dowel.
Yeah, I have done some ginormous ones. It was a I think it was a 1 and 2 company. It was the snowman. I decided I was going to be, I thought, oh, I'm going to make him in blanket yarn and I'm going to donate him to hospice. I didn't realize exactly how big he was going to be. He was supposed to be this way big in 4-weight yarn. He was ginormous. And so, yeah, we used one of these just to make sure his head does not go floppy on anybody.
And another technique, like, you know how some amigurumis, how you have like the pink cheeks? You use blush.
Yes. Yep, you can just spritz it on. And I know some people, so it doesn't rub off, they'll like do a little of hairspray just to coat it. And that way it doesn't come off. It's, you know, just how it's kind of like a trial and error, how you like it. I know there's some people who are afraid to use it.
I was scared the first time I went to use blush on an amigurumi. I'm like, what if I mess this up?
Exactly. And one of the, these are what I use for most of my amigurumi, the bent tip.
And that was one thing, like,
because it makes things so much.
Because that was one thing I wanted to mention. I have it in my notes here that they recommend the bent tip for the darning needle.
Yep. Yep. It does make, like the eye indents that somebody asked about earlier, it does help make those easier. And it does help make it sewing in the ends or pieces and parts on so much easier than just a regular straight tip.
And Diane saying Oddity has some great amis.
Yes. And I know some people use pins to position their parts when they're getting ready to sew them on. On a lot of mine, especially if they're blanket yarn, I use knitting needles. Because sometimes the pins, they can be a little clunky, and especially with blanket yarn, they don't work so well because they're so small. These will hold them in place. I mean, granted, it looks like I'm making, you know, a voodoo doll or something until it's sewed on. But yeah, you can use knitting needles.
Let's see, Judy's joined us. Hi, Judy. How are you? And let's see. I'm trying to skim the comments. I am not doing a good job keeping up with the comments today.
Carol even said bent tip needles are a game changer. Yes. Yep. Once I found them, I never went back.
Yeah, I like the bent ones. Now, I also like the ones where it has the needle, and on the top of the actual needle, there's like a bend. Yeah, like that. I like those.
Yeah, once you start doing amigurumi and you get addicted, you're going to have a whole arsenals. You might as well have a tool bag.
Tammy, my email is on the screen. Just another stitch 2020@gmail.com. I just lost my place. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing any questions.
Yeah. And Amanda, she said she also uses a 4.5 sewing needle to go through bodies as well. Yeah. These as well. They're huge.
You know
And
what?
depending on, what you're making, these can be a game changer too. It's kind of a trial and error thing for different things. They don't work for everything, just like the knitting needles don't work for everything. And there was another thing, and some people don't know that, and they struggle with anything that is very small and tubular when you're crocheting. A lot of people get frustrated and they say it's hard. You can crochet around the straw, and that helps keep your tube open.
Awesome.
So, yeah. I mean, just all kinds of little tricks.
Missy knows a lot of tricks that I didn't know. And one thing that I did is I didn't have the long sewing needle. And we took a metal barbecue skewer thingy and Frank sharpened the edge. And I think he did that one time with a metal coat hanger too for me when I needed to go through like a big body on the amigurumis, and it was like,
because sometimes like if you're using blanket yarn, your little tidy needles are just too small to get, and then you're like squeezing it, trying to get it through, and like, doing the pumpkin, the Beetlejuice pumpkin, those needles were super small to be doing that because they were so humongous, because yours was as big as mine. So you had to use something larger.
I need to get that big sewing needle when I do the huge amigurumis. I did work.
This one's actually a 5 millimeter from Susan Bates. I think I got this one at Michael's. And I've got another one somewhere. It's probably out in the living room. I have a basket next to my recliner with tools in it as well for when I'm working on Amis. And I think it is a 4.5. And that one might have come from Joann's.
Hi, Sherry. Don't be nervous about amigurumi, Sherry. You know, it's a learning experience. Yeah. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And it's fun to play.
Exactly.
And Amanda's saying Just Tough is another one that's good for beginners. And if you're interested in making gnomes, one that's good for gnomes, and she has a video tutorial, is Winding Road Crochet. She has excellent gnome tutorial. And I believe I told Mandy hi earlier. If not, howdy, howdy.
What'd you want, Diane? You said my name. Did I miss something, or did you have a question that I missed?
Yeah, let us know your question, Diane. Oh, and Kel's suggesting for a first amigurumi, maybe try like a large jellyfish.
Yes.
And if you can find like the no-sew, that's another one that would probably be easier.
Yeah, and another easy one is there are 50 million tutorials on YouTube for Loaf Kitties. Ella, with no catchy name, she has a tutorial for one. Super easy. It's the black one. Oh, you can't see it. I have a black one up there that was from her tutorial. Yeah, this is an Ella tutorial too. She makes it super simple. Super simple. But there's all kinds of free tutorials that are start with something simple. And these, you can do too many rows. The body still looks cute. It's just a longer kitty. You can do too few and it's just a shorter, plumper kitty. You know, if you lose your, stitch count or whatever, or how many rows you did, it doesn't matter. Because I've seen them with more rows than this. I've seen them shorter. And this is a very basic one. Get yourself started with simple ones. until you build your confidence.
You know another person that may be good about knowing which like patterns that are no sew? Barbara with crochet therapy, because she don't like to sew. So
Oh,
when she
really?
does amigurumis, she typically gets the no sew or little sewing ones. So she may be able to point y'all in directions for some that are no sew. Oh, Missy, can you drop your channel link again? Janet's asking. It's also in the description box of today's live too. And then Diane's saying she made a turtle, but she didn't do a good job. The head is so loose. Is there a way to fix it now? Now, you might be able to kind of stash something kind of like a rod. Now I think that the curlers would be too thick, but maybe you can find like a wooden dowel and kind of stick it in a stitch to get it inserted.
And depending on how the head is attached to the turtle, sometimes you can do like a little whip stitch in the back of the head to the back of the shell to hold the head up. It just depends on the turtle. I've seen them done all different kinds of ways. I made a ginormous one out of blanket yarn, a sea turtle. And I did a giveaway for it for a St. Jude's fundraiser. And I had to do a little whip stitch to keep it from like, but yeah, it just depends on how the head's positioned.
So I think we got Diane's question now. I think that's what was referring to.
Oh, she said she didn't make it. She bought it.
Oh.
Diane, you can send me a picture and because you have all my info and I can help you figure it out. She said it's horrible. Oh. Yeah, send me a picture and I'll help you figure it out.
And in the event that someone asked a question and we missed your question, you could send one of us an email.
Yeah.
Because, we don't intentionally try to miss anyone's question, but the chat can be hard to keep up with sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're not like intentionally trying not to answer your questions. All right, let's see. I'm trying to make sure that, skim to see if there's any questions. Yeah, Winding Road Crochet has a lot of good patterns.
I was looking to see if I missed anything else question-wise. Because I keep seeing Diane say my name with a...
And if those of y'all that have mentioned some of the creators that are good for beginner amigurumis, like if y'all can put them in the chat, that would be helpful. Like if y'all know of some.
Diane, you don't have to lurk. Girl. But yeah, send me a picture of your problem turtle and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, don't use no naughty terms. I try to keep things clean on my channel.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I think if I've missed anyone's question, like I said, ask it again. But I seem to be caught up in the chat, skimming everything. All right. So I have some notes here of some points that I want to make when it comes to amigurumi. when you're doing amigurumi, you're always going to use a smaller crochet hook than what the yarn recommends. And typically they recommend to go down at least one hook size. And sometimes you got to go down more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want holes in your work because the
No.
stuffing will show through. And I'll show you an example. Let me turn my green screen off. Okay. You can probably see it. Oops. You see how I have some holes on the feet where you can see the stuffing?
Yeah.
That's what you want to try to avoid. And you can probably see it more on the back side. But the thing is, normally, like, I have it leaning against something. So you're not going to see my mistakes on the back side. But you can see it, like, and I probably should have gone down on my hook side. And even though, you know, I still make this mistake sometimes.
Yeah, so do I. So do I.
Some of it has to do with your tension, the yarn, because
Yeah.
even though a pattern may call for a 4-weight yarn, but if you're not using the same brand,
Yes.
the same yarn, that makes a difference.
Yes. For instance, Hobby Lobby is a thinner 4-weight, borderline 3 to me. Over the years, it has gotten thinner. So you have to go down even further in hook size than you normally would if you are using Hobby Lobby yarn. And then you have some that are like super thick for a 4-weight. So kind of do a little test piece. And if it feels like the holes are going to be too much, just kind of put your finger in it and push a little bit. And if you can see, then you know you need to go down a hook size.
Yeah. So you don't want your stuffing to show through.
No.
And also, it gives a neater finish when you're using the proper size crochet hook. And now, normally, you know, if you're using the same yarn as a pattern, you typically will be using the same hook unless your tension's different from theirs.
Yeah.
But you still kind of got to know this because, like, normally a lot of patterns call for 2-weight yarn. I use 4-weight on my amigurumi.
So do I.
So I tend to use either a 4mm or a 3.5mm hook on my amigurumi. So you just got to kind of play and get a feel for it.
Yep.
And when it comes to stuffing, now polyfill is the most popular thing you use. You can use yarn scraps. Someone one time on a live mentioned that they use dryer sheets. I never would have thought about that one.
Oh, wow.
So you don't always have to use the polyfill, but I don't know, I find polyfill does work better. I used to use yarn scraps a lot, but I like the polyfill better. But
absolutely,
you have different preferences, you know. Everyone's different.
And they do. If you are making something an Ami in black and you have to sew parts on, I have used white stuffing, the normal, but you're going to get little strands. They do make black polyfill. It is a thicker fiber, so you kind of don't have to use as much, and they do come in a lot smaller bags because it is very thick. And I have bought some because I had to make some things several years back in black, and I did not want to use white because I did not want any white to show through at all. Even, you know, with pulling the needle through, it will pull little bits and strands, and then you're like, ew, and you're trying to pluck everything off.
And Kim's bringing up that you can use nylons and put your stuffing in.
Yeah.
where
I think
it'll
Amanda did
keep it from
that
leaking.
when Amanda and Sam were doing the Year of the Impkins. I think she was trying to finish up one of hers while she was at work on lunch, and she had to use pantyhose because she didn't have any stuffing with her to be able to finish putting it together.
No, sir, I think 2-ply is typically a 2-weight yarn, but I think there are some exceptions to that.
And if all else fails and you don't know, let's say it's a yarn you've never heard of it, it's not from here, you can go online and you can Google and find out what is comparable. But like Connie said, I don't tend to use, I know like Amanda, she likes to use thread to make things small on different things. But I don't typically use the smaller weight yarns. I like the bigger weights because I do donate almost everything I make. Normally a 4-weight, but I do use a lot of the Burnett blanket or Burnett baby blanket. I do use some chenilles. It just depends on what I'm making, because especially if I'm gifting it for hospice, I want it snuggly and cuddly and not rough on, their skin and stuff. But yeah, it just depends on the pattern.
And I tend to use big quiff.
Yeah.
That's what I normally use on my Amigurumi. Granted, I don't know what's going to happen with big quiff now.
I have heard some information.
All right.
I have heard some information. If you follow MDL, he did speak with someone. The Joann stores that are closing, that they're closing down and liquidating right now, those were already sold to that liquidation company. I can't remember if it's B&N or something like that. They've already been sold off. The ones that are still going to remain open are still under the Joann's umbrella. They are working with financial advisors in the court system, and they're trying to save what they have left. But they also have a contingency plan with another distributor, large distributor, that if they aren't able to save what's left of Joann's, that distributor is going to take over the Big Twist line. So, yeah, that's a plus, but I'm hoping what they have not sold to be liquidated, I'm hoping what they have left is going to be able to be saved.
Now, Now, I do tend to use like my end pieces. I'll kind of use that for part of the stuffing. But I typically need to still add more stuffing. Now,
Yeah.
I know sometimes, something small, sometimes it's enough of an end that you still have left over. Amanda's used her hairnet.
That's what it was. It wasn't pantyhose, it was the hairnet.
And that is true, but I don't find Mainstays has as many colorways. Now I am starting to like Kirshner's worsted yarn. I do find it kind of as clingy. Like it'll stick kind of to your skin.
I have figured out, because that's what I'm using on my Christmas mandala. I think it's the way they wind the balls, the skeins, that as you're pulling it out, it builds up a lot of static electricity. But I noticed since I got one of the balls down to the point it was collapsing, so I rolled it in a ball, it's not clingy anymore. So I think the way it pulls out is static electricity crazy. Because I was complaining about the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's sticking to me. I felt like a marionette.
I love how it has the pull tab.
Yes.
And I love how it works up. I don't have any issue with that part of it.
Me either.
But it's just like when you pull from the skein, there's a cling to it.
Yeah, but once that skein gets so low and you ball it up because it's about to collapse, that static electricity goes away. I think it's how they've got it wound on the inside, and when you're pulling, that it builds up that static charge.
I haven't heard anything about Hobby Lobby. And I know they, like a year or two ago, built one in a neighboring town to me. Well, it's a little more than a neighboring town, but it's closer than Lafayette. But another thing too with amigurumi, you got to learn the magic ring. And I know a lot of people don't, have trouble learning the magic ring. But once you got it, you got it. You know. Now on my beanie tutorials, I show how to, and I slow down doing it where I think you can learn off of my beanie tutorials. Um, but if you struggle learning it, try different tutorials. More than likely you'll find one somewhere along your journey that you can get it down. But you do need to know how to do the magic ring.
Sometimes. I'm the opposite of a lot of Ami makers. I hate the magic ring because sometimes no matter how much you try, it can come loose no matter what you do. I do not use magic. On occasion I will. More times than not I do not, but I've done it so much. I do like I do a chain 2 and I just start making my stitches in the first chain, but I've done it so much I know how tight it needs to be, so I don't have that problem and I don't have to pull it tight because it's already going to be tight. But yeah, I'm one of the opposites. I know a couple people who won't use magic ring.
Bag O'Day don't do it.
Yeah, she's another one.
She's not really an Ami person either.
Right. She will do one on occasion, very rare occasion. I'm trying to remember. There's actually a designer. Oh my God, I've made some of her patterns. And she does not do magic ring either. She despises it. She doesn't think it's very stable. And I'm trying to remember who she is.
Yeah, I always gravitate towards the magic ring. Like that Bag O'Day's beanie tutorials. She always does it with the chain. Yeah. But I do the magic ring instead.
Yeah.
And
there are a lot of people who prefer it, even in just regular crochet, and it's not Ami if you're doing anything in the round. And I'm one of those. I've done both. I prefer the chain method rather than the magic ring.
Now, one thing that, like, with my research for today's live, they did say that the magic ring helps keep the stuffing from showing in the first few rounds. But Missy tends to do the chain, so you probably can still get away with the chain route, but they do advise the magic ring.
I crochet super tight when it comes to Ami, so that's probably why I prefer that method.
And you need... Sorry.
Well, back in the day when I was learning, we didn't have magic ring method. You didn't, because we weren't doing internet and all that for patterns and all that stuff. And so it was chain method. And so, like I said, the more you do it and you know how tight those stitches need to be. But I know there's a lot of people like you who prefer the magic ring. You're more comfortable with that. And you got to do what's comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing something and you don't like it, you're probably not going to want to do it.
True. But one thing too, you need to know what side of your work is the right side. The right side is what faces you. And the wrong side is the part where the stuffing will touch the wrong side. And you need to count your crochet stitches in your rows. That's important with amigurumi.
Yes.
because a lot of times you're increasing and decreasing. So you really got to count.
Yep.
And always use a stitch marker for the beginning of your round. That is important to know the
I keep
beginning.
these everywhere.
Those are
They
my
are in every
favorites.
bag.
The
Buy them in
safety
bulk.
pins, the plastic ones.
Yep, I buy them in bulk. They are in every project bag that has an Ami even near it. Yeah, they're everywhere.
I'm the same way, Janet. I can tell the right and wrong side because with the magic ring, the wrong side you have the tail. Um, that's
Can
one
you
thing I like
imagine?
about the magic ring.
Star said, "Can you imagine a hamster with a mouthful of yarn saving it in his cheeks?" I love that. That's an idea.
And like one thing, like with me, whenever I learned how to crochet, I learned with stitch marker. So
Mhm.
I use stitch marker in general to mark the beginning, the end of my row.
Yep.
I'm like stitch markers are your friend.
Very
Some,
much so.
and sometimes marking your repeats,
Hmm.
stitch markers help. Um, but yeah, but when you're working in the round, it's a good idea. You really should use a stitch marker.
Yeah.
And be sure to take note of your increases and your decrease stitches because those need to be in the right spot. Because if you just kind of throw it anywhere, it may look wonky.
Because some pattern designers do put those increases or decreases in certain spots for shaping to make a certain part look a certain way. And if they're not in the right space, it is not going to make your pattern look correct. The outcome.
And another thing, and this is something I need to start doing, the invisible decrease method. And from what I understand, you're using the front loop only for the invisible method.
Mhm.
But I tend to do it like the normal way. But it's supposed to look cleaner if you use the invisible. Do you use the invisible?
It depends on the pattern because sometimes I have noticed the normal way will look better. I just kind of play it by ear. Um, but most of the time it's the invisible method.
Okay, I think Amanda uses the invisible.
Yeah.
And we already discussed stuffing the amigurumi. You don't want to
Mhm.
overstuff and you don't want to understuff. And when it comes to changing color, this is something that I still struggle with this with amigurumi because you're supposed to do it the last step of the previous stitch, adding the new color,
The pull through
and
on
I
the top.
do that, but I always have trouble with when you're changing colors. I don't feel like it looks like where they meet the end and the beginning where it looks aligned properly. And I've looked up different techniques and I have tried different techniques. And I still feel like it's not aligned the best.
It's because we're crocheting in the round. So it's always going to be a little off.
And like with knitting, I feel like there's there's a fix that works with knitting. I mean, it still might be a little off, but I find knitting you can get it the joins to look cleaner than crochet. At least in my experience. But like I said, and I always hate
Yeah.
that. But normally the back of my work is against the shelf, so it's not like people see it. But but it's like I've always wanted a technique that worked well.
Yeah, and like this is a Megan Lap. This is an Impkin. And it's the B one that you can do. And the stitches showed up on the side. So you're really not seeing them because the arm is in place and with it sitting on the shelf. But yeah, you're going to have a little off seam whenever you're doing that with switching colors.
How long did it take you to make your Impkin?
That one is made with blanket yarn, the baby Bernat, and I have them written down in there because for donating to hospice, I have to put how much time is spent because they consider it volunteer hours. And that's how they are able to stay non-for-profit. So I have them written down in there, how long it takes. It's, I can make one in about a day, taking frequent breaks because my hands.
And I find like how long it takes to make something is so subjective because it may take one person less time than another person. And you got the fact that some people crochet faster than others, some people crochet slower. And how much time during the day are you working on it? Some people may have more time that they're crocheting, you know, and others, they may only be able to get a few hours in here and there, or if that, or maybe only can work on it a couple of days during the week. So I never feel like you can judge how long a project takes to make based on someone else.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, yeah, if you can find that link, that would be awesome, Cheryl. Thank you. And another thing too, like with amigurumis, you tend to have to do the sewing. And it's a good idea to use the sewing pins to place the things how you want it before you start to sew. So my advice is use the pin. And we talked about using the bent darning needle. That helps too. And always leave a long tail when you finish off your pieces because you typically will need a long tail to sew. And my advice is it's better to leave too long of a tail than not long enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes even if you're not sure if you're going to need to sew it, I still leave a tail just in case.
Yeah.
So make sure to leave your tail. I got a tail. And when you are lining like your arms and stuff like that, you use the line of your stitches to kind of make sure it's aligned evenly. But even that can kind of be subjective too, because you're knitting in the round and it's not always level.
Exactly.
But that's what they advise is to use the lines, kind of like with the eyes, and like with eyes. Now, one of the popular things to use is the safety eyes, but they're not really as like they call them safety, but I really wouldn't say that they're safe for a young child because
depends on the brand.
They can't come undone.
I have a whole plethora of safety eyes. I keep them in stock. Typically, a lot of people buy this type. You can get them on Amazon and other places. They're fairly inexpensive. They have a range of different sizes. However, with them, the backs are not the greatest. They are very
come off.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to grab one here.
You can also add some hot glue to help bond it.
Yeah, they're very tiny. not very sturdy. And these ones you cannot use on blanket yarn if you are using blanket yarn for Amis. But when I have used these, like you said, you can use the hot glue gun, but there's another way. Once you've got it in place and you have, you're going to have the tip that's going to be sticking up, I will take a lighter and warm it enough and take a piece of wood and squish it down to like almost like a nail head. Whoa. And once you put that nail head on there, that backing is not coming off. But I don't, yeah, I use these on smaller ones where I know they're less likely to pop off, and I'll do that. I'll burn the back and get it just heated enough that it'll melt a little and make like a nail head with I have a little piece of wood, and I'll just, but for bigger ones, I buy these are Amazon. I'm trying to see what size these are even. These are 25 millimeter, but they have, and these are the sinker ones. They have more, they're more expensive, but they have better backs.
Okay.
And some of them are even a harder plastic. I have those as well. Those harder plastic ones, they are not coming off. Once they're on, and I still will melt the end of these because they are so large, and I don't want to run the risk, but you have to use the large ones with the sturdier backing if you're using the larger yarns.
And another option too is you can crochet the eyes too.
Yeah.
Instead of using safety eyes.
Yeah.
And I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything else you want to mention, Missy?
Let me see if I had anything on my list. We've covered that. Facial embroidery, stitch. One of the things that I emphasize on everything is to don't be afraid to think outside of the box, because we always say a pattern is just a recipe or a suggestion. You can make them look just by changing up yarn and adding an adornment. You can make it look entirely different. And I'll give you a for instance. I make a lot of these, my fairy goblins. This was the first one I ever made. All she's got is a little bow, and I made a little beaded necklace. But then I just used some extra adornment, and she became a fairy goblin.
Oh,
with the tutus. I sell so many of these. And she's got her little magic wand, and she's also got eyelashes.
Oh.
So notice there's a difference in how she looks just by what you did. And then and you might like this one, Connie, when Mardi Gras was canceled due to the dreaded pandemic, and people were just decorating their porches, and people were driving by because you couldn't do the festivities and the parades. I was inspired to turn that goblin into a Mardi Gras. I just made some little triangles, stitched them together for a little jester hat, put the little green bells on it. And these are like Dollar Tree, the little Mardi Gras beaded necklaces, and just did them in Mardi Gras colors. And it just changes, but it's all the same pattern. All the same pattern. Just use your imagination. I find that little things all the time, bells, the little necklaces at different places, Christmas ornaments, little mini things that you can add, and it will change the entire look of your piece and take it from the little piece you see in the picture to something where everybody's looking at you going, oh my goodness, where did you get that? And just use your creativity.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing with amigurumi. You can so make it your own by adding your little things to it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm seeing some questions about safety eyes. Cheryl wants to know, how can you know they will be good quality?
The more you're going to pay for them, they're going to, and you can, because I'm trying to remember how many's in this pack. There might be 15, maybe 10 or 15 sets in here. These are the heavy duty ones. Granted, they're larger. I paid more for these than this whole box right here. Usually when you get these little boxes, these are for smaller things, thinner yarn, and you're gonna have to, like Connie said, either use hot glue or burn the end and flatten it out like a nail head on the back side of that little piece that pops on there, just to make it secure. I've seen ones where you get them and they're entirely junk and the back just snaps in half when you try and pop it on. It's just kind of a trial and error. If there's anytime, Cheryl, there's any question, you can always reach out to me about where to get a specific one. You can also order them by the pair from places like glasseyesonline.com. Suncatcher Craft Eyes, she hand paints and has a whole plethora. I do hand paint some of mine as well. I buy the plain ones, the blanks, and I will hand paint to match something that I'm making.
Yeah, like, me, I've normally got mine off of Amazon, but I haven't bought enough of them to know really which ones are the best and which ones.
Yeah.
So Missy had more to contribute on that than me. And then Kim is asking if the metal backs are better. I've only used the plastic ones.
Metal backs are good. The metal backs are good. I have, and also, I don't know if I have, here's some right here. I have cases of safety eyes. I had to get them organized. This is all safety eyes by size. But there's also another, this is right here. These are kind of comparable to the metal back. They're the thicker, very, very rigid plastic. They don't bend at all. These are comparable to the metal ones. I do like the metal ones. Those ones are hard to find nowadays. You don't see them very often. Everybody wants to use plastic. But I still do use hot glue, and I will burn ends just to keep them from popping off.
Now, see, Carol is saying that she's seen someone using puff paint pens to do eyes. Now, I'm not talented enough to do that.
And you can use that if it's decorative, but if somebody's buying it for a child, you're not going to want to use puff paint. Sometimes those puff paints will peel, and even if there's a little edge, little kids are going to pick. So they will pull them off.
Sorry.
I tend to like the,
Santa's asking if you have a hand-painted video.
I do not. I was hand painting these before I ever started YouTube. That's one of them. Yeah, I was doing these when we were in lockdown. Because I was running out of colored safety eyes. So I was painting my own. I use acrylics and I buy the clear with sparkles. If I want sparkles in it, I do the sparkle coat first in acrylic painting. And then I buy, there's a sealant on Amazon. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I buy it and then I'll put it on it and it dries clear and it totally seals in the paint on the back. So you can't even see it. It goes on white, but then it seals. So it's not coming off there. Maybe someday I will do a video if I can figure out how to set it up to paint a safety eye.
And one thing,
yeah, if somebody wanted to know how to do it, just reach out to me and I'll kind of guide you through it a little bit if you have the stuff.
and one thing I started learning too with amigurumi, sometimes you can get away from sewing by using like hot glue or craft glue.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else on your list, Missy? Or did you cover everything?
I think I've pretty much covered anything that you didn't cover.
Okay.
You know, tested patterns. Find ones that are free. Try before you buy. Because there are people who try it and they decide this is not for me. You know, whether they want to practice or not, they'll be like, I just like making blankets, or I like making doilies, or I like making hats, and that's my thing. And that's okay too. Don't go plunking a bunch of money down on something that you're not going to use or enjoy. So try before you buy. Find ones that are reputable and have freebies. And like I said, be creative. Do adornments. Make hats for them. Use Dollar Tree eyelashes. You can find all kinds of things to dress them up. And it doesn't always have to look exactly like the picture. You can give it hair if you want to. So many of them that I've done have, little floopies of hair on top, or
just you can get creative. You can get creative with the hair.
Yeah, just practice. And like I said, if you get stuck on something and you're not understanding it, reach out to somebody you know that does amigurumi, and I'm sure that they will be willing to help you.
And a lot of with amigurumi is experimenting. It's playing.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And don't get so caught up in, it doesn't look perfect. You know. Enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you, Cheryl. That was so sweet. So I have my little super chat video. I'm going to play again. If I can find it.
Thank you for sending Connie the super chat. Yay! Connie got a super chat. Thank you.
And thank you again, Cheryl. That was really nice. And I see Jules has joined us. Hello, Jules. How are you today? What did you work on? So I think we covered everything with amigurumi.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm going to go ahead and pick some more extra entries for February giveaway. Love is in the air. That's the name of the giveaway.
Awesome.
So all right. So I do 3 people automatically. I got 2 super chats today. So I'm going to do 5 people to get 5 extra entries into February's giveaway. So let me get Mr. Nightbot back up. Oops, and I cannot type. My hand's like aren't aligned on the right piece. All right, let me get this set up. All right. it. I'm getting everything set up.
And like I said earlier, if any of you are new and there's something that Connie and I didn't talk about, and you think of a question later about Ami related, feel free to email and reach out, and we'll try and help you as best as we can with the information. It might be something we know, and if we don't know it, we can try and find a resource to help you figure it out, whatever the question is.
Because I'll do my best to help. Now, I think Missy's more knowledgeable than I am on stuff. She's been at it longer than me. But yeah, I'll do my best
Just
to
a little
help
bit.
and you know, I'll recommend tutorials or videos, you know, on things too, if you have a request like that. All right. So for the extra entry, Charlie is the keyword. So put Charlie in the chat. My sweet baby boy. Charlie. If you want Nightbot to drop your channel link, the way to go about it is to type drop in the chat. And if for some reason he doesn't drop it, because if two people type it at like the same time, he won't get both links usually. But yeah, I'm going to be picking 5 people, and each of those 5 people will get 5 extra entries. Yeah, my boys don't get in enough videos. They don't like, really not big on being picked up. Charlie, I've gotten him in a few, but Ollie's hard to pick up.
Binks will pop in every now and again if I have the door open or if she's screaming at the door. She's the younger one. She likes to watch videos more than she likes to. She can tell the difference when I'm on a live or if I'm recording versus when I'm watching a video. There's certain voices she will come running because she has to sit and watch their video too. She's weird.
Hi, Tina. How are you today? We're doing a drawing for extra entries into February's giveaway. I'm picking 5 people randomly to get 5 extra entries. Typically, I advise when it comes to dropping your channel link to only do it once or twice during the live. And really, I need to set it up where I limit it. I don't think mine is set up where it limits. But after dropping it twice in the same live, I feel like it gets excessive. You know, now sometimes like something may come up where you feel the need to have it dropped again, but yeah, I'd say like once or twice. All right, so let's count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and good luck. Congratulations, Angela Wright gets 5 extra entries.
Congrats.
All right. Next person, Lacey Lavender 1 gets another 5 entries. Congratulations. And Temi's Critter and Things get another 5. All right, so that I've done 3 right now, huh? Yeah, 3. All right, 2 more. Cheryl Smith gets 5 extra entries. And the last person for today's live is Obsessive Crochet Lady Amanda. Congratulations, Amanda.
Yay, everybody.
And for those that don't know, I have a giveaway up. It's called Love is in the Air. And there's a video where you could sign up for that video to automatically get 1 entry into the giveaway. And then on every video I put out, I leave a keyword for a chance for extra entries. And then when I go live, I do drawings for it. And there's also the replay where there's a chance for those that don't watch it while I'm live. So let me put up that word. So since we're having hamburgers,
Good one.
the keyword for replay is burger. So don't type it now. After the live ends, then the comment section will open up like how it does in a regular video. That's where you type the keyword for the replay. It's just what I named the giveaway since February has Valentine's Day. Okay, go ahead and drop your link again, Store. Kel's asking for it. All right, but yeah, but that's why it's named that. Let's see. Okay. That was a question for someone in the chat. Okay. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything important. But yeah, burgers is the keyword for replay, and I'm in the process of working on February's joy video. I was hoping I would get it out today, but it's probably going to be tomorrow. So that's going to be coming. Tomorrow is bingo, just another bingo. I forgot about that. I need to mention that. So tomorrow's just another bingo. If you want to play and you haven't signed up, be sure to sign up on the sign up video for bingo. I'll be doing the live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I need to schedule that live too. Yeah. But yeah,
So many things to do, so little time, right?
Huh?
So many things to do, so little time.
I know. And the funny thing is, like, I try to stay on top of things, but I feel like I'm always behind. There's so much I still need to get done. And especially with writing up my patterns.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I have patterns I still need to write up, still need to have tested. And then I still want to do tutorials on them. All right, the sign up video. So one of my moderators dropped the link for my bingo sign up. I could get the link, but the thing is, it won't like, you'll have to copy and paste it. All right, Cheryl's getting the link. Yeah. Be sure to sign up. And I have a comment pinned on the video with everyone's numbers that are signed up. Well, there's one person I hadn't added to it. But other than that, everyone's numbers should be there. Um, so if your numbers aren't on that post, make sure to put your numbers. And I also have it, I had posted it a while back on my community tab and in my Facebook group. So, and if worse comes to worse, I still do take numbers during the live at the start, but I prefer to have the numbers before the live starts so the game can start sooner. It makes my life easier. Oh,
Did I miss something, Diane?
yeah. Cheryl posted the bingo link right here. Yeah, and I do this once a month, the third Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. So I think
Oh,
that
I know what you're talking about, Diane.
yeah, and hopefully I didn't miss anything important in the chat today. The chat was going pretty fast.
It was.
So, and like I said, if you have something important, you can always send me an email. All right.
Same with me.
So I think that covers everything. So I'm going to go ahead and play my little video to thank my Stitchin alien and UFO members. And then we'll come back and say our bye-byes. Alrighty. So, so I hope everyone enjoyed today's live. I enjoyed chatting with everybody. Oh, one thing I forgot to ask. Do you have anything going on your channel, Missy, that you want to mention?
Amanda, Obsessive Crochet Lady, and I are doing a collaboration where we are working on mandala blankets. We're doing 2. We drop a new video every Thursday morning. She is on Eastern time. I am on Central. So the video drops at 6 Eastern. Mine is 5 Central. And anybody who is, it doesn't have to be the Mandela Madness itself. Like for instance, you're making, what is it, the gingerbread mandala, Connie?
Yeah.
You can send us pictures and we will put them in our posts, and we're going to try and start putting them in the videos to show that the mandala style blankets that everyone's working on. We do have some people that are in the chat that are actually making along, and as they update, they send us a photo and we're spotlighting them. And we're just doing it laid back. Anybody can join. It can be any mandala style blanket. We just want to, as much as we like, this is, and I always say it, as much as I like making things and she likes making things, we also like seeing everything everybody else makes. So you can join in with that if you want to and check it out on Thursday mornings. And I also do Amigurumi Monday. Trying every Monday. Every now and again it's late and it comes out on Tuesday. And I go over some amigurumis I'm doing. We're adding some to a random bucket for picking later to randomly decide what I'm going to make. And I do answer questions if anybody has any and stuff like that. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
I need to send you my pictures.
Yeah, we'll put them in the spotlight. We want to see what everybody's making. We're having fun with it. We decided it was going to be stress-free, laid back, no more than 5 rounds a week. And we know the bigger they get, it's going to be impossible for people to do 5 rounds. Especially we're making 2 of them at the same time. We're doing a Christmas and a Mandela one. And so it's just however long it takes us is however long it takes us. We're just having fun with it.
And yeah, if y'all haven't,
and we invite everybody to Queen. If you join,
If y'all haven't checked
do
out
what?
Missy's channel, check her out. Let's get her closer to her 1K and hopefully to her 1K.
Thank you. We just like to have a lot of fun.
But I find Missy has amazing content. I think everyone will enjoy your channel. So yeah,
Oh,
check
thank
her out.
you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. So yeah, I enjoyed chatting with y'all all today, and I hope everyone has a fabulous rainy day. Be the light. Always remember to be the best sparkly you that you can be. Be cool, be kind, and it's ooh la la time. Come on, everybody. This is how I tend to do my closing for those that don't aren't familiar
Yeah.
with me. It's just something to have fun, put a smile on your face, make you laugh, and we can shimmy, and we can do
Exactly.
the cat dance. Meow 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 meow. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.